Welcome back to another Middle Age Gaming podcast. We are starting fashionably late as always, but I hope you are here with us still. I always say lots of news, but the guys disagree with me this week. They believe it is a short news week, but we still managed to eke out a few stories here and there to delight you, inform you, and maybe give you some ideas about what to think about in the future. With that being said, let's start off with Antoine's first stories and talk about sort of connecting with Adam's topic last week about demos being removed, which you guys loved that video on YouTube. Antoine, what is happening with EA?
Nothing special exactly right now, but it's more like something that you guys need to know, because most games right now at live service, especially if you're playing with friends and all, and once your game is starting to get old, of course, it's going to quit the servers and your game is going to quit your server. So EA is shutting down some game. And this year we have quite a list, but it's pretty much old game, right? So it's really, how do you say, a PSA, a public service announcement of just if you're playing these kind of games and you really like to play it with your friends, likely you are playing a newer version, but just keep an eye. I gave Adam a link of where you can find the list of games that are shutting down every year. You know, you have the list in alphabetical order. So take a look, you know, on the EA website. So some of the big games which are quitting this year, when I say it's quite old, like all the Formula One from 2011 to 2014. So it's more than 10 years old game. Kind of logic. It's mainly American games, though. You know, you have NHL 20, NFL 20, MLB 23, Formula One. So it's really much American games. So American people. I'm sure you already have the latest version of the NHL 24 and N2K, etc. But if you're still playing with your friend on the older version, then your game might actually be soon leaving the EA servers. But just take a look, and so you don't get surprised that you can't connect, because you can always play offline, of course. But what's the point of a multiplayer game if you're by yourself? So yeah, just take a look. And so when Krian was saying that there's not a lot of news, just to correct this statement, there's not a lot of exciting news. You know, we got a lot of Pal World, of Helldivers, and this week you know, yeah, EA shut down. Yeah, but they do that every year. Of course, they do that every year. So yeah, some good PSAs on today's show. Sorry for the lack of excitement. It's an in-between show, but I'm sure at least out of the 9 stories, you will like at least 1 or 2. At least I hope.
Adam, any thoughts about online services shutting down?
Yeah, I mean, it's a live service thing, so I mean that's kind of expected, especially with the way EA always updates. You know, they have like the NBA 2Ks and NBA 2K24, NBA 2K25, you know, and then the same with FIFA. Like every year there's a new FIFA game. I mean, at a certain point, people are probably not playing 3-4 generations back, or at least a number of people aren't playing that much. It's not really worth the amount of money to keep, you know, 5 services running when 90% of your player base is all on one of those, right? So, I mean, it makes sense, yeah, especially when you're coming out with another one every year.
Yeah, I think this is something that we started to see, I feel like 5 or 6 years ago, where, you know, going back 15 years, or I don't know how many years, but like when online gaming was a thing and people would keep the online service around for a while, that was a service to your players and build loyalty up. And now it's just about sort of maintaining that bottom line. And I saw a few of these, just not even just beyond what EA was doing. I've seen a few games where like, yep, we're stopping this online service. You have until this date to sort of play this game, and then from then on, you can't do it anymore. But at the same time, this does leave the door open for private servers and people modding stuff in. And I remember seeing City of Heroes, that really famous MMO, which was restarted, and I think it shut down 2 or 3 years ago. And now you can see YouTube videos about it and people playing it online and like, yeah, this is now back, and you can come in and play with us. And I'm hosting the server from some basement in Idaho, somewhere in the middle of America. So it's just because something's shutting down doesn't mean it's going to shut down forever. If you are a big fan of a certain game, just keep a lookout online, and if there's a passionate enough community, you might have a chance to play again.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily true in the mobile sphere. Was it Square?
Oh, no, I agree.
Yeah, they shut down.
Not...
They shut down the Full Metal Alchemist game. They shut down Final Fantasy First Soldier. They're going to shut down Nier Reincarnation. And a lot of people are like, "Can we get an offline version of Nier Reincarnation?" Because that's canon to the story. It's all part of the story of Nier. It's you know. So, but yeah, the player base is just going to be shut off from it. So it's like the only way you could be able to absorb it in the future would be to watch YouTube videos, because it's just will cease to exist. So, you know, for newer people coming to the game later or whatever, you know, they're never going to have that opportunity to experience it. So that's kind of sad. But those two are those are different because they're not like live service games in the sense that you know, if you're playing something like Halo or something where eventually the population declines and, you know, it's just one guy sitting in the lobby by himself. These are all single player experiences, so I think it's different.
So that's a good idea for a future video, right? To do a Nier Reincarnation lore video so that people can go into it after the game is shut down and they can't play it anymore.
I'd love to do it, but I'd have to watch somebody else's lore video to do it.
Exactly.
Just because it released.
It's for research.
It released late a year here, and then it shut down after a year here. So like we never got past, I think, chapter 12. So they were like, okay, we're gonna introduce it to the Southeast Asia, and then they were like, we're just not gonna touch it for a year, and then they're like, we're not making any money off of Southeast Asia. We're gonna shut it down. It's like, well, of course you're not making any money. You've never done any maintenance. You've never given us updates on chapters. Like, you wonder why you're not making money. It's because you're not giving us the game. But yeah, so.
All right, Adam, what are you delighting us with today?
I'm going to delight you all with Persona 6 rumors. So Persona 6, we still don't know when it's coming out, probably 2025. But there are some rumors. We'll see if they're true or not. So the first one is that there are going to be 2 protagonists, which people originally thought, hey, this must mean it's like a Persona 3 kind of thing where you have one male protagonist and one female protagonist, because part of the rumor said that you will be able to play as a woman or control a woman in the game. And so people are thinking like, oh, okay, so we're going to have, you know, one male, one female. But then later on the rumor came, the person who leaked the rumor said, no, it's actually 2 male protagonists. So you will be able to control a woman, but she's not one of the 2 main characters. So I'm not quite sure what that means. It might be that it's a kind of thing like maybe one of the older, like there's some of those older RPGs where you can kind of select, you know, who you want to be kind of your party leader when you're running around on the world map. So maybe it has some sort of character select kind of thing like that. It says that one of the characters, their name is going to start with the letter K. The other one's going to start with the letter S. No idea what those could be, but we'll find out. But some people are a little disappointed because apparently with the leak came the leak that there are already multiple DLCs planned. So, you know, after the game comes out, they're going to be milking it for all it's worth, just like every other Persona has been recently. But it looks like some of these DLC will be very customization heavy. For example, one of them was your character could now fly. So you could fly around the map. I'm not quite sure why that would need to be a DLC. I'm not quite sure, but that's what it said. And the other rumor is that unlike, say, Persona 3 Reload or Persona 5 Tactica, this being a brand new mainline Persona game, it's going to be very big, and as such, it is going to be too big for Game Pass. So basically, the size of this game and the scope of the game, and it being one of the mainline games, that it will not be released, at least not day and date. Will not be releasing day and date on Game Pass, just because, yeah, that would be a huge sum of money. So. All rumors. We'll have to wait and see how it goes, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, so just wait a couple of years to have your PX Persona 6 Royale, where you can have, because, you know, I got the Persona 5 vanilla, so I never got to play the rest of the story. And it's an 80 hours, text heavy game. I'm not gonna redo it just for a little bit more story. So if you're Atlas, Persona fan, don't play day one. Just wait for some Steam sales of the whole package. And look, Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass after less than a year, and on Blizzard. So maybe it's gonna hit the Game Pass at some point. Maybe without DLC. In any case, I don't recommend day one.
Yeah. No, I think that's kind of how a lot of games now are kind of going, where people are saying, oh, games are getting too expensive, but game production is getting more expensive. And I think saying like, okay, we're going to release a very vanilla game and then we're going to add all the DLC later is a way that these companies are kind of like, okay, that way we can keep the price tag on the original game relatively low, so people think like, oh yeah, the game's not that expensive, but we're still going to get our money in the long run, because when we give you the full version, it's going to actually cost you a couple times. You're going to pay a couple times. So yeah, this is just how things are going to be, I think.
Yeah, just wait for a humble bundle deal.
Yeah, you don't have to pay on release.
Yeah, no, I still, as much as you guys have warned me about it, I keep looking at like Persona Tactica, whichever one was Tactica. 5. Yeah, and I've seen it on the Switch, and I'm like, oh, I really want to give this a go, because I'm playing Atelier Rise, and I'm like, oh, the story is not bad, but there are loads of times where it's just like, I'm just hitting whatever the hell the other one button is. What button is that? The A button on the Switch to skip, because I'm like, that's fine. It's fine. It's just the same point you've made like the last 5 dialogue boxes. I don't care anymore. But I just want to play it. The gameplay is cool. I like the mechanics. I want to try out the Persona 5 mechanics, and that's all I really care about. So, actually, I need to add it to my Switch wish list so I can pick it up.
Yeah, I like Tactica.
And on that note, yes. Oh, I remember watching you stream it. One of the Personas I believe you streamed, right?
Persona 5 and Persona 5 Tactica. I did both.
Yes, you guys should definitely check out. How close are you to finishing Final Fantasy? Because I guess Dragon's Dogma comes out on Friday, right?
It comes out in 2 days. Oh, I wish it would. I wish it would come out next month. Oh my god, I really wish that I had 2 months between these games.
Dogma.
Yeah, I'm like, I will not be finished with Final Fantasy VII Remake before Dragon's Dogma comes out. There's zero possibility of that. The question is not, will I be done with Final Fantasy VII Remake? Because I will not. So the question is do I
switch Final Fantasy to personal life, and then
do I switch Final Fantasy VII Remake to because I'm pretty close, but do I switch Final Fantasy VII Remake to personal life and then just stream Dragon's Dogma, or do I just get to the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, finish it, and then do Dragon's Dogma? Because I'm close, but I'm not. There's no way I'm getting there in 2 days. I got work today. I got work tomorrow. There's no way that I'm going to be able to get there in time. So it's just a question of, do I? Which I think what I might end up doing is streaming Dragon's Dogma, because I think Dragon's Dogma is probably a more streamable game because it's more Skyrim-esque in the sense that it's about running around and discovering things, and less about it's less plot heavy, whereas Final Fantasy VII Remake is very much about plot. So if you kind of jumped into a stream and you haven't been watching the previous streams, you're kind of like, oh, okay, what's going on? Who's that guy? So I think Dragon's Dogma is a little bit easier to jump into because it's like Skyrim. You're just like, oh, okay, it's just some random bandit. Well, fine, kill him.
I saw some streamers alternate, 1 week they play one game, the other they play one other game, and after the third week they go back to the first week game.
That'd be a possibility too. Yeah, right now I'm debating with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth I'm really kind of debating if I want to do hard mode or not, because in Remake I did hard mode, I did all the extra content, I completed it, I got the platinum, and on Remake I was like, okay, I'm going to play the game, I'm going to do all the I'm going to do all the side quests my first time around. And then after I beat the game, I'm going to do hard mode and just beeline it through the game, right? And I'm just going to beeline it straight through, and that would have been fine. But then I found out, oh no, a lot of the content is like, if you want to get like the extra, because you know in hard mode everything's harder, so you're supposed to be unlocking things like the scriptures or whatever, the manuscripts to make your characters more powerful and all that. A lot of those are locked behind side quests, which means like, wait, so yeah, so it's weird because it's like, if I had to recommend how to play the game, I would say beeline the game the first time, skip all the side quests, just do the main quest, and then do the side quests in hard mode. Because if you do the side quests in normal mode, you're going to have to do them again in hard mode to get the stuff. Whereas, you know, I'm like, a lot of these side quests, you know, doing them twice is just, I've spent like probably 80 hours already in the game, and I'm like, man, if I have to spend another 80 hours because I have to redo all the same content, if it was just a storyline and I can just skip the story and just go straight through it, you know, to get my platinum, that's fine. But I'm like, if I have to just do like, because some of the side quests are just like really tedious kind of tasks that you have to do, and it's kind of like, okay, I'm glad that's over, I'm glad I never have to do it again. And it's like, no, you do. And I'm like, I might just have to finish the game and then just be like, nah, well, I finished it. You know, same as Neo. Neo has 4 tiers of difficulty, and I did the first one. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to be playing all through all 3 tiers and just repeating the same content for better gear.
You could have joined me and Antoine in the typical middle-aged gamer behavior, right? Finish it once and be done. Go on, go through the backlog.
Well, that's the thing is, yeah. So that's the thing is, I probably will platinum it, but what I'd probably do is I would probably go through and say, you know, if I finish the story, play Dragon's Dogma, do that till I'm done, or at least until Stellar Blade comes out. Do Stellar Blade, and then after that, come back to Final Fantasy VII Remake and finish all the extra stuff. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking I might just take a break from it for a while and come back later. So
when you're finished with Stellar Blade, there will be Space Marine 2.
Adam doesn't play Warhammer stuff though.
No, I don't play that stuff as much.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, if my friends are playing it, I'll play it. But yeah, after Stellar Blade, I don't think there's anything else really this year that I'm like super hyped up. I do want to play Rise of Ronin maybe eventually, but I think after Stellar Blade, I feel like I feel pretty confident that I have, you know, I can finally catch up. I can finally do Forspoken, which I was supposed to be playing last February. I can finally play my Kati DLC for Akiba's Trip, you know, like, which I was supposed to be playing last May. But yeah, I can finally catch up on some stuff. So after Stellar Blade, I should be pretty clear sailing for the rest of the year.
All right, and I regret going down that side track, but I guess this is the lesson I've learned like 25 times that I still don't remember. Never talk about Final Fantasy ever. On that note, my story for today is just, this is something for you middle-aged gamers who are working at home, or who do spend a lot of time working at home, who do have to do work at home, and you are a Windows 11 user, or maybe you recently upgraded to Windows 11 because one of my close friends just recently upgraded to Windows 11 last time. Like, I thought everybody was at Windows 11, but statistics do say that a lot of people are still using Windows 10. So if you have a lot of files, I have at least 75 icons on my desktop because there's work, there's class, there's gaming stuff, there's YouTube mag stuff, there's my own work in YouTube stuff, and it's just way too much. So if you're looking, and if you're watching this video, right, you can go to your desktop, you see the little full pane typical Windows 11 icon. You've got your search bar in the middle, you've got your Copilot icon, depending where you live, and if you're a Copilot person, next to that, you will see a little like a gray icon that allows you to set up virtual desktops. One thing I will say, if you're running 16 gigabytes of RAM or less, I would not suggest use this because there are bugs in this that like it'll shoot up your physical RAM usage, because we've talked about virtual memory on the show before a few times because of Adam's issue. But basically, if you're like a person like me, right, and you want to organize your life, you want to have your gaming desktop, you want to have your work desktop, you want to have your YouTube Mag desktop, you can set up all those desktops so that when you're doing YouTube stuff, you have YouTube desktop. When you have gaming stuff, you have your gaming stuff, because that's something I really struggle with, which is why sometimes, like when I'm working and there's like time, I can just pick up my Switch and play some Switch while I'm looking at the company Slack channels and I'm looking at this and that, right? What this will allow you as a desktop person, or a person who plays desktop games, is that you can have all your work stuff and like, okay, I have like 20 minutes. I'm going to hop and play some Beyond the Storm, Against the Storm. It's not Beyond the Storm, Against the Storm.
Yes.
Right? I can play that on my second desktop, right, while maintaining my Slack, my 25 tabs open on Chrome for work, for your Google company space, and that sort of stuff, whatever tools you have. So very easy. It's already built into Windows 11, every single version. We do recommend it for 32 gigabytes of RAM. So you should have 4 shiny RAM sticks in your machine. Ideally, you can do it with 16 gigabytes, but you probably don't want to because that might slow down work performance. But very simple solution to sort of organize gaming, work, and whatever else you're doing in your spare time. Okay, and moving on, because we started a bit late. Antoine, what is your second story?
So if you're following this live, which I know not many people do, but anyway, let's keep that for later. You must have heard me say that a million times, and I did say it before, do not buy a game on day one if you can avoid it, unless you're a really big fan of the said game. And here I'm going to talk about Starfield, right? So I said before it came out a long time ago, do not buy Starfield on day one because, like Elder Scroll, it wasn't perfect on day one. It took a while to get as good as it is even right now, right? And Starfield, since it came out, I couldn't enjoy it for several reasons. You know, I got it on the Game Pass, so I don't know if my the fact that I'm playing on the cloud was diminishing my, the render, and the lip sync was all over the place, and the experience was not good. Probably my card, which was a bit busted, didn't really help, and there was a lot of things. But mainly, even though some quests were fun, the game really felt dated and not finished, or at least not polished. You know, it really felt like, it came out bare bones to let the modders, finish the job. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel that, modders really jumped out on it yet. I don't even know if they do have, the things as a modder's patch or a modder kit to actually play with the game. So I don't know if it was released. In any case, since it came out last September, every month, right, you have some patch, which is normal. You have patch for every game, and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And with this update 1.10.31, they hit the mark, right? They made 507 changes in total. Most of them being extreme minor, like a thing, they move this flower pot from here to here, because it's more feng shui, I don't know, whatever. But they made some let's say, comprehensive revisions to the game. It's a patch which came out, which was 2 weeks in beta testing, and it's now released for me today, 19th of March. So for you guys, it was yesterday. And so this game, it's finally starting to get a bit fuller, or the definitive version of a game coming out last September is coming out right now. And they are still changing things like UI tweaks, like the scanner, with the scanner open, you can now open doors and harvest. Plenty of little things. There's 507 changes. I'm not gonna list them all. Just go check, on the Bethesda website to see what changed, or straight in Starfield file. But yeah, that's how it is. So again, don't buy games on day one. That's my everyday advice. And if you want to play Starfield, wait another 6 months, because as you see, there's really big, heavy patches coming out. And when a patch is that heavy, patches itself commits with its fair share of bugs, right? So before this game is really final and you're gonna really, really enjoy it, just wait another 6 months, maybe a year, and you will see in the Steam sales in 6 months from now. Like right now, you have Starfield on sales right now with the spring sales. It will be even cheaper in 6 months or a year. So take your time. This game really needs some polish, and it's gonna be fun eventually. Especially that they are doing a lot of quality of life improvement, like autosaves. When you are taking your ship, moving from location to location. Moving from location to location on one planet, then you have autosaves, which were not there before. So, lots of quality of life improvement, and this game eventually will be good. But, same as I said before, I know that Adam bought Dragon's Dogma 2 ahead of time. I hope it's going to be okay. At least the character creation stuff is excellent. I played with it as well. It's really, really fun. I hope that the game is as good as the character creation stuff. So yeah, that's my second story for today.
Yeah, I will still disagree with Antoine. I think Starfield worked really well when I first played it. No problems at all. I stopped, if you go back to old episodes, because there is a particular mission where it's like you have to do that mission in order to progress the game, and I didn't want to do it. I'm like, I wanted to play this game my way, which is like a bullet hell, go everywhere, shoot everything, kill everyone sort of way. And it wouldn't allow me to do that. I had to do this game this way. I'm like, no, screw you, game. I'm not going to do that. And so I uninstalled it. And at some point when I'm feeling much more patient, I will give it a go. And until then, yeah, that's unfortunate. But I still think it's a wonderful game. I did see this update notes on there. I don't think, I think Starfield's won another 2 awards since the last time we talked about an award somewhere. I saw it on their threads. Middle Age Gaming follows Starfield on unintentionally on threads. And I saw something about them announcing some awards. But again, these are very technical, best environmental effects awards, nothing like best of game or best story. It's all these really, it's like that franchise Godzilla -1. Adam likes Godzilla, right? And they won an Oscar for something or the other.
Yeah, can't watch it here in Taiwan.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But yeah, Starfield it's a great game, but definitely but I'm 100% agree with Antoine's advice. I regret buying it full price for the amount of time that I paid for it. So I'll definitely wait for it to come out. Same with Baldur's Gate 3. This is Steam Spring Sale is going on right now. The price is only 10% off or something like that. I'm like, nope. I'm going to wait another, I guess we have to wait for the autumn sale or the fall sale. So another 6 months until I play it or consider to play it at that point. All right, Adam, story number 2, sir.
All right. So my story number 2 is going to be about Dragon's Dogma, which is coming out in 2 days. So yeah. So what it is? Sorry. Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming out in 2 days. But one thing that they have stated is that there are going to be timed side quests. I don't know why I can't talk all of a sudden. So there's going to be timed side quests in this game. And what that means is that you'll be doing certain side quests and you have to complete them on time, because if you don't, there will be negative effects. Now, it's not quite sure how the timing is going to work. Is it going to be in-game time, or is it going to be it's going to be measuring progress on other quests, so every time you hit a certain point, that's a tick of time. Not quite sure. But the example they gave is there could be a child that's lost in the woods and you have to go do that quest. And if you go running off to do that quest, and then you see oh, there's a graveyard over there, let's go check it out. If you spend too much time dilly-dallying, yeah, you might not be able to find that kid in the woods, and that could have negative repercussions. So what it's saying is that don't just grab every quest that you for instance, if you're in Skyrim or in most other games, you just grab every quest that comes your way, right? And then you just do them in your due time. One of the things about the original Dragon's Dogma was that there were quests were locked to game progress. So depending on how far you were, you could unlock certain quests, or you were locked out of certain quests. The game was relatively short, so it was designed that you would play it multiple times, but they wanted each playthrough to feel unique. And by doing that, they were like, we don't want you to do all your quests in one playthrough. We want you to very, think about which quests you're taking. And then, those are going to lead into other quests or whatever, and so all that's in consideration. So I'm personally very happy that they went with this route, because this is kind of how I wish more games would do it. I remember when Cyberpunk 2077 was coming out and they were saying, we want Cyberpunk to be a lot shorter than The Witcher 3, but we want it to be a lot more playable. We want it to be much more replayable than Witcher 3. And I was hoping that we would get like, your quest choices matter, because depending on which quests you do, if you like say do a quest for this person, then that's going to lock you out of quests for people that don't like that person later on. But then in your second playthrough, you can do the other side of the story. So, shorter story, but more impact on the choices that you make. So 2 playthroughs feel like completely different games, lets you experiment. So I'm hoping that's kind of what they're doing here. But we will have to wait and see. Now, not all quests are time locked, so you will be able to know which ones are and which ones aren't. That'll give you a little hourglass icon to tell you this is a timed quest. You need to, complete this as soon as possible. So, don't worry about how am I supposed to know if I can take my time or not. It'll tell you. But yeah, I'm very excited about this feature. So.
Yeah, and that's still true to the first game. As you said, I was surprised when I was supposed to get one of the villager girl, which was lost in the wood trying to help you. And then, I went to this wood after a certain time. I can't find this girl. How come? And I just realized I've said, no, you took too long. You progressed too much into the story. This girl is back in the village. She came back a long time ago, right? Okay. So no, it's good. It's a good way to keep true to the first game, but bring some new tweaks to it. So nice.
Yeah. I can imagine my feelings about this. I just like it a lot. That sucks.
Why?
I want to do everything. Why would you stop me from just that's just terrible. I mean, it's just like giving you pressure in a game with like, if I don't do this, then it's gone. I failed you, virtual character. No.
Just don't. No. It's a different mentality. Like in Skyrim, you're encouraged to grab every quest and just do it, in your leisure. This time it's more about like, don't grab every quest. Grab the quest that looks interesting and go do that first. And then, this one's teaching you to don't just try to multitask the crap out of your life. Prioritize. This is an important life lesson.
And that's also the Dragon Dogma spirit, where you don't have fast travel all the time, which force you to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth all the time, which makes you think, where would I put my port crystal to make it more efficient for my that? And I agree with you. It's super time consuming, and it started to piss me off a little bit in Dragon's Dogma 1. So I see where you come from, definitely. But it's still an interesting gameplay. It's out of the ordinary, and I really like out of the ordinary these days.
Yeah, it's more in line with like traditional D&D.
No, and don't get me wrong. Like I'm saying all this, if you're watching the live stream or you're watching this later on YouTube, you're going to see me with the 2 thumbs down. And it's just because while I'm saying this, I still love the combat. Like I've watched videos of Dragon's Dogma 2 combat, and it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks fun. It looks like books like I read from Wim D. Feist and David Eddings in the 90s and the 80s. Classical fantasy authors about magic and stuff. And I want to play Dragon's Dogma 2. At some point, I'm going to let Adam be the hero that he is amongst the three of us and play all of this first so I can see if I like it or not. Just like I loved watching Adam stream Persona. I'm like, ooh, the combat looks really cool. The turn-based stuff looks fun. I love the art aesthetic. And that's, again, something I'm going to play at some point. But at the same time, I'm still not sure about all of this stuff because I hate just like with Starfield, right? I hate choices being forced upon me. I want to have all the choices in the game. I mean, choices get forced on you in life enough. Why would you force it on me in a game anyway? But anyway, that's it. I still think fun game, awesome game. You guys should check it out. You guys should check Adam streaming it when he decides to stream it. Yeah, and let's keep going. My third story is Stardew Valley patch 1.6, and you have not heard me talk about this game in a very long time because I remember when we started doing this podcast, I mentioned Stardew Valley like every 6 weeks or so, way back in the day. I guess we'd be like episode 160 or 170 right now. But yeah, patch 1.6 is coming out very, very soon. And if you're like me, right, you Stardew Valley came out like, oh my God, this game is amazing. You played it 50, 60 hours. Maybe you then got a Nintendo Switch like I did and played another 50 or 60 hours on the Switch. And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then this was before multiplayer, before all the additions from 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. And now you're like, okay, I'm looking for a farm game, right? I don't want to play Disney's Dreamlight Valley. I don't want to play the other hundreds of, not hundreds, but probably like 20 or 30 farm games that do exist on the Switch or on your PC or on PlayStation 5. And you want to go back to Stardew Valley. And there's a few good reasons for you to do that. Number one being new farm types. So again, I was not aware of this. I guess I should say I was aware of this, but you're probably not aware of this. Since you played 1.0, right, there are different kinds of starting farms that offer you different advantages and different benefits that allow you to, if you are the kind of middle-aged gamer like Adam, who does do more than one playthrough, though less and less these days, I will say that much. Yeah, you can play Stardew Valley, you can test out this farm, you can challenge yourself. There's new events as well, and there's I probably think the best thing with 1.6, right, there's a lot of small quality of life stuff, but there's a new area that allows you to gain benefits that will sort of benefit your entire farm, sort of like in-game content in terms of Stardew Valley, right? Lots of like farming games have this, which stuff that makes things that you were doing before you went to that new area much faster, much more efficient, and you sort of develop this much stronger, better economic engine, and you get to a point where like, okay, I can't be any more efficient than this. I can't do stuff any better than what I'm doing it right now. And you can finally stop and take a break until version 2.0 comes out, or Eric Baron's next game come out, which is the which Harry Potter-esque sort of Stardew Valley game that's supposed to come out end of 2024 or 2025, I believe. But yeah, Stardew Valley 1.6, it should come out beginning of April, if I'm not mistaken. Keep your eye out for that. Will come out, of course, first to PC, then will come out to Switch, usually like 1 to 2 weeks later. And if you do play it, let me know. Stardew Valley is on my list of things to play after I finish Atelier Ryza 1, which apparently is 27 hours and 45 minutes, but I'm also very tempted to buy the second one and play all the games for the next 9 months until the end of 2024. That's how much fun I'm having. Anyway, that's it. And unless you guys have questions, you can move on to Antoine's final story.
You see, it's not out. It's just because I saw a news earlier saying that Stardew Valley right now had the biggest concurrent players ever in its life, allowing the new players and old ones from the 1.6. So I thought it was already out.
But I don't believe it is. Let's have a quick look. Current Stardew Valley.
In any case, boo on me. I never played Stardew Valley.
I haven't played either.
Oh, you are right. It literally came out yesterday.
Hey.
Oh, lo and behold. Well, that's fun. So please test it out and let us know what you think. Thank you, Antoine.
My pleasure. And for my last story, so it's loosely related to video games. Apologies, but I like to geek out on the things like this. Let's talk about Hasbro. Maybe you know this toy company. They are the owners of the Dungeons and Dragons license, and they made a lot of news these days. It's starting to get back to be a thing with Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which was a very great movie. And then there was this small game called Baldur's Gate 3, right? So that they get to what's the name of the studio?
Larian Studios.
Thank you, these guys, which makes a pretty penny for the guys at Hasbro. So they thought, hey, let's strike the iron while it's hot. So now they contacted Lego, and they made this beautiful Dungeons and Dragons Red Dragon's Tale set. That's quite a mouthful. At $360. Yes, it's quite the price. Coming out on April 4th. It's a 3,700 pieces set, which might be actually a bit like what's behind Adam right now. Do you remember how many pieces was in your rocket?
Let's see. It was. I'll have to find it, but yeah.
14 plus. Under the 14 plus, you should have it.
Under the 14 plus?
Yeah, in the front. You know, you have the big red Lego, and under this.
No, that's just the serial number. I don't think I mean, otherwise, maybe it's 1,969 pieces. It's a possibility.
Maybe. Who knows? In any case, this set is for 18 plus, and it comes with. So, first of all, for $360, you could either have this beautiful set and have a lot of fun, you know, building it, exposing it, and really have this, or you can have a third of the Horizon statue that I talked about 3 podcasts ago at $1,000, right? Or the collector edition of Final Fantasy Rebirth, which is the same price. $20 more expensive. I'd rather have this actually. You know, I actually talked about the Lego Horizon back in the day, which looked really cool. This one is fantastic, and there's a little plus to it on top of the Lego, which looks cool. It's that you have a homemade campaign, a D&D campaign coming with the Lego, made by Wizard of the Coast. Wizard of the Coast, I noted somewhere here. They are Wizard of the Coast is an American publisher of games, most of which are based on fantasy and science fictions. So there are the guys who are reselling Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not sure if they are the one doing the doing the editions, 5, 6, etc. And they belong to Hasbro, so it didn't cost much for Hasbro to actually make their own campaign. But that's the little thing on top of the Legos. So it looks great. It looks fantastic. And if you like me, like you geek out on overpriced Lego, then this is made for you and me. And with this, you have 6 minifigures. I noted them because it was pretty cool. You had a Dragonborn in it. I didn't even use a Dragonborn was in Dungeons and Dragons. I thought it was, a Skyrim thing. So I don't know if there's any kind of relation, like Elder Scroll. Is it related to Dungeons and Dragons?
Inspired by.
I don't think. Inspired by, yeah, but. So in any case, you have an elf wizard, a dwarf cleric, a gnome fighter, an orc rogue, a dragonborn, and some monsters like an owlbear and a beholder. Look at this. I don't know if you have it on your screen, but look at the prettiness of this dragon on top of the... it looks really cool. I want to be in this tavern right now with the guys. What do you think? Would you do it if you had this kind of money? Because it's still quite a budget.
How much was it again?
$360 US. If you compare it to one of the Star Wars Millennium Falcon or the big Death Star stuff like this, it's absolutely nothing because this stuff goes to $2,000, right?
$2,000?
Yeah. There's a big...
I think this one was only 200 something. And yeah, I looked it up. It is 1,969 pieces, so 1,969 pieces at around $200 something.
Yeah. Well, so that's it. It looks really cool. It's the kind of thing that I won't have time to build anyway, but yeah, it looks great.
Good project to do with the kids.
Exactly. Except if you are like me and say, you have to put everything in the right way before you start building, and your kids are like, no, you don't.
Oh man, I love the idea of Lego, but I think you talked about this before. When like in the 80s, where we were kids, Lego was cheap, I believe. But it's just like $300 for Lego. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you're exiting.
Yeah.
And I have a Lego Batman and Joker somewhere on top over there, and that took me like 3 or 4 hours to build. That was not even that many pieces. I can't imagine. I mean, this is why this Batmobile of here is not being built and it's still in the box. And there's a gigantic Batmobile one that's like 6,000 pieces. That's absolutely beautiful. I'd love to build it, but no, I can't spend $300 on Lego. It's just like crazy. I mean, I totally agree, Antoine. That is awesome. I'd love to build that, and then buy an entire like cabinet case with a glass bottom, and then put that Lego just inside and put it right behind me and fill up this blank white wall over here. Absolutely beautiful. But like $370, I could buy a nice motherboard and a new CPU for that. And $369, I could pay half of an ROG Ally for that price. This is so much, like, I love Lego, but there's so much nice hardware I could buy. I could get a better lighting for the podcast with that amount of money, like a nice little...
You have very pretty lighting already.
No, this lighting is terrible. There's like nice, like a dispersion lighting that I've seen really nice. Like I did a podcast last week with a guy, and oh my god, he had like this wonderful big light, and it had like a little like umbrella thing on the cover, and it that would come first as YouTube is our thing. But yeah, beautiful Lego. If I win the Taiwanese lottery, yes. Otherwise, no. All right, Adam, final story.
So for the final story for me, I'm going to be talking about WoW Plunderstorm. This came out, I guess, yesterday here in Taiwan, but I guess it would be today in US, Canada. So it is a special, not a feature, but it's a new way to play. If you are somebody who's subscribing to WoW, you can do this right now. So it's part of your WoW subscription. Basically, it is a World of Warcraft Battle Royale game. So the way that this game works is you are playing as a pirate. You are not playing as your normal character. You can customize your character between matches. And what you do is you go into the map, and it's kind of like... what was that, Hunter's Arena Legends in a way? You go out, there's mobs around, you kill the monsters, you gain experience, you level up, you can get new spells and stuff like that are new abilities that you can put on your character. And then, and then there's a storm, and the storm is slowly shrinking, and, you know, you're forced to fight each other, and it's the last man standing kind of deal. So... it does look kind of interesting. There are quite a few departures from World of Warcraft. For example, tab targeting is no longer a thing. Everything is manual aim. There's no auto attack. Now it's, you have to click the attack button every single time. So it's a little more action oriented than, say, World of Warcraft was. All your spells now, or at least most of your spells now, are going to be skill shots. So you need to make sure that you're aiming it appropriately. But yeah, it's, I don't know. They said that this mode is kind of something that they've been wanting to experiment with for a while. So will it be a long-term thing, or will this be something that they throw out for a while and then it's an event and it'll eventually be gone and then they'll bring it back? They did say that they want to bring out other events. So this might be kind of a thing where, it might be here for a while, and then who knows, maybe they'll get rid of it and then cycle it with other events. But if you're somebody who already plays World of Warcraft and you kind of want to try a new thing, and go ahead and try it. Also, things that you do in this game, for instance, if you unlock certain, the progression is meant to be done relatively quickly from what they said. I think that's part of the whole event thing of it. It's not like they have to draw it out for a long time and keep people invested. It's like, we just want people to play it as much as possible right now. So you can unlock things like certain gear in the game that will be unlocked for all your characters across WoW. So you'll have all those transmog options. So if you're into WoW, go ahead and check it out.
Welcome to World of Fortnite.
Pretty much. But no building, no crafting.
Like in Fortnite.
Yeah, now.
Not like the good old days. Cool. And in the interest of time, I think, because I've got, as the guys were talking, I was putting stuff into the Mag calendar for next week, which I've put online. So we have all the stories planned out for YouTube. If you are watching this live, you're like, oh, when are the dedicated videos coming out? They will be coming out from tomorrow with the Persona 6's story, which I thought was pretty cool. That will be tomorrow's first story. And that being said, I think we'll call that my other story was about Dune Imperium, which is like a big board game thing, but I can always make my own video about that. Guys, final thoughts, gaming thoughts, games being played. Adam decided on what you're going to do streaming wise.
Yeah, I'll probably just switch to Dragon's Dogma. I'll probably, because I wanted to do the character creation thing, and I was like, I'll do that once I finish Final Fantasy VII. That didn't happen. Hasn't happened. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably work on the character creation. I'll probably do that tonight, maybe tomorrow, and then I'll have a character ready to go, and I can start Dragon's Dogma on Friday, because it comes out on Friday, and I actually was able to get Dragon's Dogma on my Taiwanese account, I believe. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, so then I'll be able to stream that on Friday, and then I'll just do Final Fantasy VII Remake on my own time, I guess.
Nice. So Adam, it's already preloaded on the PS5?
No, it's not. It's not up for preload yet. I checked earlier. It'll probably go up for preload tomorrow. It's usually 24 hours in advance. So probably at midnight tonight, it'll be up for preload. Although Final Fantasy VII Remake was up for preload 48 hours in advance. So I don't know. Maybe it was just a bigger download. We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe. Antoine, what about you? Still beyond, I keep always saying beyond the storm, against the storm?
Against the storm, especially since I convinced one of my friends to try, and he found it absolutely fantastic. So now we're trying to fight each other on who's gonna break the seals, reseal the seals first. So definitely playing this, and since I don't really have much time for anything else at this time, yeah, definitely this for another month or two, I guess.
Yeah, and I've just been switching it up, and I'm very sure on the decision that I don't think I'll be doing any PC gaming unless it's with other people, and that's only twice a week. Switch gaming for me until I buy an RGLI and a dock so I can connect it to my TV. Fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you as always for the stories, for the news. Thank you guys for tuning in, for the YouTube support, the Instagram support. I know you guys keep loving Adam's Instagram reels, which are doing super, super well. I apologize for the Instagram comments, which is fine. The thing I struggle with the Instagram comments is like they're not like well organized like YouTube is, where you can reply to each one. Instagram comments are like there's one that's like 3 weeks, and underneath the 3 weeks one there'll be one from like an hour ago because this guy replied to this guy, and Instagram was like, these people replied, and it's just so hard to find. So I'm doing my best to reply to all you guys on certain videos, but it's just, I've got to do some research to figure out, there's got to be a better way to reply to those comments, because at the moment, like in the Instagram desktop app, it sucks big time. And on that not sucky note, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys at the same time next week for hopefully more exciting news, and we'll chat to you then.
Bye.